Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Middle Georgia Spotlight. I'm your host, Jack Ellis. We are on the eve of Memorial Day weekend. And joining us here in the Spotlight this week to discuss some of the things that's going on with veterans, not just during Memorial Day, but throughout the year, is the commander of the Disabled American Veterans. Her name is Miss Carolyn Small, and she's located right here in Macon, Georgia. The DAV headquarters is located in Macon, Georgia. Welcome to our program, Commander.
Well, thank you so very much for having us, having me today.
Yeah. Well, you know, we are on the eve. We're going to talk about Memorial Day, obviously, the importance of it, but also the living and what the services that the DAV provides and so forth. Mm-hmm. Now, you're headquartered in Macon.
Yes, we are.
And you're the commander. How long you been the commander?
For 2 years.
2 years. So you're in charge of all of the disabled American veterans posts in the state of Georgia.
That is correct.
That's quite an accomplishment and quite a great position.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you see that the disabled American veterans are confronted with? Now, we'll make sure people understand you're not part of the Veterans Administration. You're a service organization, the Disabled American Veterans work closely with the Veterans Administration. But what's the biggest challenges that you see of our veterans?
Well, you know, National Headquarters has identified many critical goals, but for 2020, we have 5 critical goals, and I'll go over them with you right now. One of them is to ensure veterans exposed to toxic substances receive full and timely benefits, particularly for burn pits, Agent Orange, and other known exposures. You know, that's been a real big thing, especially for our Vietnam veterans that's trying to get some help because of the conditions that they say they have now because of what happened back in Vietnam with the Agent Orange exposure. So this is one of the, right now, it's the top priority, you know, for us right now. And number 2, we want to enhance veterans survivor benefits. Again, all this is working at the national level. We have the legislative team in DC that's led by Joy Elam and her team. They work very, very hard trying to get these benefits that our veterans not only deserve, but have actually earned. And so kudos to them. I like to give a shout out to them right now. And the third one that we're looking at is fully and faithfully implementing the VA Mission Act. Okay, and we want to strengthen veterans' mental health care and suicide prevention programs. I know we've heard a lot about that recently in the news, and also Governor Kemp has a program that he has that's focusing on suicide prevention, which is our veterans are committing suicide, so many every day, male and females.
Now, is there a particular group of Vietnam veterans, or these are Gulf War veterans, or all of the run the gamut?
It's across the board. Absolutely, across the board. But you will see more of the more recent veterans simply because of the time frame. Yeah. You know, a lot of our older veterans, they have, unfortunately, have passed away, like our World War I, World War II veterans. But Vietnam and forward, oh, absolutely, yes.
Now, you're having to deal with some things that I'm 75. I'm retired from the military of the Vietnam War. That we didn't have a lot of women in the military at that time, but now I'm noticing that because of sexual assaults and everything, a lot of women are applying for disability because of some things that happened to them, not in war, but by against their own fellow service members.
Oh, absolutely, and you know that's basically number 5. We want to enact legislation to address gaps and inequities in the VA's women veterans health care program, because we don't have a lot of doctors that know how to handle the female issues. And one of them that I just want to make sure people understand that when you mention MST, military sexual trauma, it's not just women, it's men also. They're putting in compensation for that, but not as many men because they don't want to speak up. They're embarrassed. this type thing. And so, but yes, it's both men and women.
But you were much younger than I. I mean, you were in the military.
Right.
You what branch were you in?
Air Force.
So I remember when I was in the Army back in the day, the women were all separate. The WAC, the Women's Army Corps, was over here, but now everything is integrated and they're together men. So I guess that has presented a challenge. I know you're not speaking for the military. You deal with them after they're out,
Right.
but you have to understand the environment that they come from, I'm sure, while they're in the military, yes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You have to look at, like I said, you have to look at everything, from the military to the time that they may have spent in combat. It's from the very beginning, to the time that they get out. You have to look at their whole career, and you do find some things in there that you would think, I can't believe that those things are happening, to our female military members,
I saw something, read something the other day, Commander. I'm sure you're on top of it. And a friend of mine just passed away last year. He again was 76 years old. But he was a Blue Water Navy veteran. He had been fighting to get, you talk about the toxic Agent Orange, they had been fighting for a long time to be recognized. I understand that they are going to be recognized now.
Absolutely.
Blue Water Navy
Absolutely.
veterans.
And see, that's what our legislative team in D.C. does. They work on those types of issues. They identify the problems that we're having in the military and what our veterans are going through after the military, and they identify situations, okay? And then they look at the situations and they say, now what can we do about these situations? And then they work with our Congress representatives, the House of Representatives, our senators. They work with them and try to get them to understand the things that veterans are actually going through and why they're going through these things and what we would like for them to do to help. So yeah, like I said, that's a very hard-working team.
How has this COVID affected your team, just trying to see veterans because they come to you, they seek you out to help them prepare their disability forms? How has it affected you and the veterans trying to access the service?
Well, we'd actually have to get a little creative, basically, because like you said, we normally come see us, and for many months, we weren't able to actually have veterans come in. Now, once we got more guidance from the CDC and Governor Kemp's office, we developed our own guidance, and that we put it out to our chapters, which we have 28 chapters throughout Georgia, the state of Georgia. We put that out, and then we let them develop their guidance from that, okay? And one of the things that some of our chapters were only off for about maybe 3 months, some were longer. It depends on what was going on in their particular counties, okay? And so we have very stringent rules that we had to put in place. Everything that you've heard about the masking, this 6 feet, and all of that, we had to put all those things in place.
But while still providing the service, you're still trying to provide the service.
Right, absolutely. Did a lot by phone, did an awful lot by phone, and at the headquarters now we've been having to do, not actually engaging with the veterans via Zoom, but we've had to use Zoom as a means to keep in touch with our chapters to make sure that they're doing okay health-wise, first of all, because that's number one, is keeping our people safe. And then number two, okay, how are we still helping the veterans? So that's, So
you didn't shut down. You were available. You just had to adapt.
We had to adapt to the situation.
Like you do in the military.
Absolutely.
The mission
That's right. Adapt and overcome, right?
Yeah, the mission still. But let's talk. So I read recently that before, when you got out of the military, you could sign up whether you wanted to keep your SGLI, I think, insurance. I understand now they're going to bring it back to all veterans. Did I read that someplace, or is this proposal that you'll be able to get that and go back and get that insurance again?
Now, I'm not familiar with that particular issue, but
it's a VA issue. I know it's not a DAV issue,
but
it
is.
I heard about it.
Right.
But let's get back to some of the things that you service living veterans, but we also have to be there, and we have to on the brink of Memorial Day, so we do have to talk about the fallen.
That's
Now, when a serviceman dies, the headstone, the flag, that's still, how do they access that? Say if a loved one dies and they say, I want to make sure they get a headstone, can they contact you or do they contact the VA directly?
They can contact us and we can help them with that. Absolutely.
Okay.
We can point them in the right direction. But a lot of it is done by your funeral homes.
Okay.
A lot of that is done by the funeral homes. They know exactly what to do. And
If they don't know, they can call you and you'll tell them.
absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Now, as we celebrate Memorial Day, of course, we, as you said, World War II vets, they're moving on now to World War I, most of them are gone. Korean War vets are getting on up in age, and here we are, a Vietnam vet, 75, 70, we are now mid-late 70s. How has the service that we receive as veterans and the new veterans with a lot of females, how has it changed your mission? Has it? You have to be more, how do you have to adapt to deal with the new veteran as opposed to the older veterans, if you will?
Well, you know, we really, if you're referring
Using
to
technology and all that stuff, because a lot of us, we didn't know how to do this stuff. But now I guess they can go online and do a lot of things that we didn't do back when we were their ages.
oh, you know, that's true. That's true. We do use a lot more technology nowadays than what we did, like you said, back then.
Yeah.
You know? But we, as far as DAV goes, okay, our mission has never changed. It's been the same. You know, we want to fulfill the promises that we made to our veterans. We want to make sure that they're empowered to live high quality lives with dignity and respect. That has never changed.
Now, in order to become a disabled, well, we know the term disabled veteran, but who qualifies to, you know, everyone can join the American Legion and the VFW, you've served overseas, but who can join the DAV?
Well, first of all, like you said, you do have to be a veteran, and you have to be in honorable discharge, you know, for that. You have to have served during a period of time of war. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in combat itself.
Okay.
But you do have to be in service during
The
time
era,
of war,
during that
for the
era.
For an era. Right, okay. And they're the
Okay.
three biggest
So,
things.
but
right there.
so you're solicited, you're always open to membership. You have to,
Always.
it's an annual membership that you,
Oh,
yeah.
always. We have membership recruitment drives all the time. You know, because you know, when in our Veteran Service Organization, especially in DAV, let me speak specifically with DAV. You know, there's power in numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
And right now we have a little over 1 million members in DAV. And you know, the more numbers you have, the bigger voice you have, the more Congress listens.
Yes.
So that's why we're always recruiting. Now, right here in Georgia, we have almost 23,000 members. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
almost 23,000,
Wow.
and we're still trying to get more people.
So you have more people than a division commander in the military. You only have 16,000. So you're equivalent to a 3-star general. That's a core level. But I want to thank you so much for what you do for our veterans. Thank you for coming on the program and sharing. We're going to put your information, your phone number, your address, how veterans can get in touch with you. They don't have to be a member of the DAV to get your services.
Well, that is correct.
Yeah,
That's right.
They have to know that. Well, I want to thank you. Anything else that we didn't mention that we need to mention? I want to give you time to say that, but if not, we will.
Well, I just want to say we're here for all veterans.
All veterans.
We're here for all
Whether
veterans.
you're a member of the DAV or not,
Absolutely.
if you're a veteran, get in touch with the Department of Veterans of DAV, located in Macon, Georgia.
Right, 4462 Houston Avenue.
Well, we're going to put that up and your phone number as well. Thank
right.
you so much, Commander. Commander Carolyn Small, who is the commander of the Disabled American Veterans for the state of Georgia, 23,000 strong, and they're located right here in Macon, Georgia. When we come back, we're going to talk about a Memorial Day festivity that's going on here in Macon and Mills, Georgia. We're going to talk to the Honorable David Lucas, Senator David Lucas. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Middle Georgia Spotlight. In the first half of the show, we talked to the commander of Disabled American Veterans and Memorial Day coming up. But we also have to memorialize some other people who have gone on. And today we have the father of a son who we memorialize, and he's no stranger to anyone in this area. And that's Senator David Lucas. In addition to having a son that perished on the field of battle, if you will, he was recently inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. So first of all, let me congratulate you on your son being inducted.
I appreciate it.
And let me welcome you to our program.
Glad to be here.
And let me thank you for what you do every day on Memorial Day, because Memorial Day is not just about putting flags on headstones, and that's part of it, and we do that. But it's also a time that we celebrate and we try to have some enjoyment and some fun, and you've been doing that every year with the Soul Jam Fest. Tell us about how did that come about and how's it going?
It came about, I guess, this will be our 21st, about 26 years ago. People used to walk up to me and why we can't have shows in Macon.
You know, Memorial Day, you chose Memorial Day.
I chose Memorial Day after the guys, I was dealing with guys from Atlanta, they used to have what we call flashback. And they would have flashback at Lakewood Amphitheater on Saturday, and we would bring the show to Macon. And for 5 years we did it, and the guys just said one day, said, look, we ain't gonna make money in Atlanta, then come down to Macon and lose it. And so what happened after they decided to pull out, I looked at the calendar and decided that I need to put a holiday behind it. And I went and talked to Brother Stewart with Bibb Distributing with Budweiser. And fortunately, he was able to get with me, and we started doing it. And that's the reason it's called the Bud Light Soul Jam, because they put up X amount of dollars to help us get started with it. And so we've been doing it this will be the 21st year. What we try to do is have a good time, but at the same time, I've gotten old too. I can't jump up and run. And we make sure that people are safe. They have fun, but they're safe. And I tell folks all the time, if you want to get locked up, come to Soul Jam, you can get locked up, because I don't carry nothing but sworn officers, off-duty deputy sheriffs. People come to have a good time and not for a whole lot of foolishness and fighting and that kind of stuff.
You have a good track record. You haven't had any of that, as I recall.
Well, we had one incident, but I jumped over the fence to go break it up, and before I could get there, the police were there and said, you don't have to worry about this, we got it.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you as a veteran, because this is a time that we celebrate the fallen. And as I said on the introduction, you too understand that, because your son perished on the field of battle, if you will, on his field of battle,
Right.
on the football field. So I appreciate you just having it on Memorial Day, so that we can, while we pay respect for those who've gone on, we also can have some clean fun, and I personally thank you for that.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, but it's just like any other business. It's a business, and you run it as a business, and therefore you have to make sure that you take care of all the other things so folks can enjoy the festivities and not be disrupted by foolishness.
Yeah. How many acts do we have? The artists acts do we have this year?
We have,
who are they?
The Rolls Royce, Sir Charles Jones, Nellie Travis, Ronnie Bell. A lot of folks ask me who Ronnie Bell. I said that's the one that sang that song, "I'll Pay the Shipping Costs." And then we got 3 local acts. Arthur Boponder, who's been singing, who sang back with Oda Tread.
I know.
A guy by the name of Mike Hagerbrook. Their group is called Just Friends. And then a guy by the name of Al Davis, who played with a lot of bands around, and then he stepped out on his own and did a stepping tune. And so I decided to put him on. And of course, I'm not performing this year. I'm just going to try to pay the bills and try to make sure everybody enjoy themselves.
Well, people don't realize that you are a singer, a blues singer.
I try to be.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk. We have I have this paper here, and your late son. We talked about him, Al, and we have him here where he was being inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. Is that this?
The Georgia Sports Hall.
Georgia Sports Hall of Fame this year.
This year.
So that must give you a lot of joy, even though I'm sure it's mixed because it's
Rather have him
posthumously.
here with us.
Of course, of course you would. I think of all the young men that I served with in Vietnam went on to be with the glory, and I think about them not only Memorial Day, so I'm sure you think about your son, not just Memorial Day, but is that, how does it make you feel to have your boy in the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, it feels good, but you know, he worked at it. He left high school and went to Troy State. Stayed in the weight room. When I go to Troy, I didn't have to worry about finding him. I find him in the weight room. I used to have to try to look for my other son. And he was a college All-American. And then his senior year, he won the Buck Buchanan Award, which is the best defensive player in Division I AA football. And he later went on, he went to Pittsburgh, signed a free agent with Pittsburgh, and got cut. And he was the most miserable guy to live with in the house. And I took him to On's Fitness Center and got him involved in karate. And then Carolina Panthers called and wanted to try him out and told him he needed to only bring a handbag and some change of clothes. He went up for the tryout and didn't come back home. And I had to get a U-Haul trailer and tow his truck up to North Carolina because they didn't let him come back home. And they signed him, and he played 2 years with the Carolina Panthers, and then they had a coaching change, and they didn't re-sign him. And he ended up playing arena football. He went to the Tampa Bay Storm. And playing at Tampa Bay, he was the all-rookie and everything. And then he later went on to the Los Angeles Avengers in California. And he happened to be in a game and suffered a spinal cord injury in that game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the history.
Yeah, well, I know that had to have been devastating, but you've carried on his memory. You were talking about Memorial Day. You've carried on his name through a scholarship program,
Right.
and now into the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure this, because of the Soul Jam on Memorial Day, will memorialize him. I'm sure this will be a special day for you as
Oh,
well.
there's no question about it. That induction takes place this Saturday at the Macon City Auditorium.
Well, congratulations. Now let's get back to the Soul Jam, because like I said, it's Veterans Day. We put out our flags, we shed our tears, or we remember those we loved and so forth, but we also have a little fun. So this is the 29th?
21st.
21st. The Juneteenth was 29th. We had the 21st Memorial Day Soul Jam Bud Light Festival
Right.
at Henderson.
At Henderson
At Henderson
Football
Stadium.
Right.
Now, how much are the tickets this year?
Tickets are $40.
$40, which is
$40.45 at the gate.
which is good. Now, will they be able to bring in? How will COVID affect you? Will everyone be able to come? Will they
Well,
have to wear a mask, or
We
just
encourage
separate
folks to bring masks, and they're not going to wear the mask while they're eating
Yeah.
or drinking.
And it's outdoors too,
Yeah,
so
and
now
it's outdoors, and outdoors is wide open. I mean, the Braves can now fill up that stadium with how many fans they have. So those restrictions are not on us. We have the EMTs there, which is required by the county, and we had to have security. And I've always decided not to use private security guards, because if you act up, then I want you gone. And I'm going to be the one to prosecute you, because it's a business. I mean, if you act up and create a disturbance when everybody's having a good time, folks don't decide they don't want to come back because of the foolishness. And therefore, we can't have that.
Yeah. So this will be on Memorial,
It will be the Sunday before.
the Sunday
Memorial.
before Memorial Day, which is the 20.
It'll be the 30th.
The 30th.
Yeah.
That's right. Normally it's last year. So the 30th of May, Henderson Stadium, all day.
Well, we start.
What time is-
We start at 3 o'clock, and we hope to probably be through by 10:30.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to have anyone to speak with David Lucas without talking politics.
Right.
You just finished a session, and you have a lot of things came out. How do you rate the session that you just finished, and what's big on the agenda other than reapportionment coming up?
Well, I give us a D.
The body itself,
The body
the Democrats,
itself,
the whole body.
the entire body, based on what Republicans decided to pass this year because of the election. Because of the election, it did not turn out the way they wanted it to turn out, and therefore they decided they would start doing these draconian type measures to try to prevent folks from voting. And the problem with that is they are looking at folks of color. Even though many whites voted against Donald Trump too, but people of color turned out in vast numbers, and they turned the state of Georgia blue, and they decided that they were going to make it harder for folks to vote. Period. And we have to realize that when you talk about memorial, you got to talk about those folks of color who pay the ultimate price for our freedom and for us to enjoy the freedoms that we have in this country. And many of the folks that voted against Donald Trump saw Donald Trump as a dictator. He wanted to be like Putin. In other words, you do as I say, or that's it. And of course, the insurrection that happened on January the 6th, Donald Trump instigated all of it. He tried to prevent the counting of the electoral votes to certify the President of the United States. That's basically what he did.
Against the Constitution.
And there's no question about it. And Republicans act like we didn't see what we saw on television and that Trump and their party wasn't part of it. They helped do it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, when you want to hear about politics, here's the dean of all politics in our area, if not in this entire state, State Senator David Lucas. He is the father of late Al Lucas, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame, and he's the owner and the producer of the Soul Jam Festival, which will take place on the 30th of May, day before Memorial Day. Wish you much success. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
This is one of the events, but I think one of the things that both you and I need to talk about, you being the former mayor, is that we've got to stop and try to instill in our young folks.
Yeah.
They need to cut out this foolishness.
I want to have you back to talk about that. Yeah. I want to have you back to talk about that because you've raised sons, you've been a teacher, you understand what it takes to get these children back on the right track, and we need your voice. Yeah. I'll be looking forward to it. Okay. We want to thank you all for joining us this week. Happy Memorial Day. Go out and have some clean fun at the Soul Jam Fest at Henderson Stadium. Until next week, I'm your host, Jack Ellis.